Hello, my name is Sergio Gonzalez. Welcome to our podcast, Exploring Healing Modalities. This podcast focuses on the role of shamans in culture, and today I am honored to have our guest Jennifer Rose, a powerful healer in Prescott. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
Um, Today's podcast episode, we're going to be exploring Jennifer's work. And yeah, Jennifer, could you tell us a little bit about your business?
Thank you. Yeah, my business is called Embody Ascension, and it's not so much a business as it is an extension of my personal practice. I spend all of my time really looking at patterns within myself and applying that towards growth, i.e., ascension. And so every every interaction becomes an opportunity to practice and to take that into a business atmosphere and to bring that perspective to other people is my goal.
Mm, thank you. Um, yeah, would you mind telling us how this work and all the things that you've been trained to do, how that has been as a journey for you and what you see in the future for yourself and this business?
Sure. I started out connecting to myself and connecting to nature, and it moved into various healing modalities with somatic emotional clearing as a base. I studied polarity therapy, and Reiki in Japan was a huge highlight, seeing the different cultural perspectives within the same healing modalities as it had been taught to me through Western culture as well. And then taking that understanding of different cultures into Peruvian shamanism and getting to meet an amazing woman who had come from the Inca culture and had translated all of her own teachings into this modern, accessible practice. And she trained me in shamanism. She trained a lot of people in shamanism. She made it very, very accessible. And so after Peruvian shamanism, I also trained in Deeksha, which is a practice from India, and it's gone all over the world and transcended culture as well. Um, the understanding within that is definitely something that held me throughout my entire practices and development. And I continued on with that as a foundation into angelic healing, um, light language. I'm now studying angelic earth resonance, and I'm really excited about quantum hypnosis and past life regression, which I'll be starting after the new year.
Nice. Yeah, that looks really exciting. Yeah, especially past life regression. I think that, yeah, this memory being of service to remind people of their higher purpose is, I believe, is a really powerful path. Yeah, a lot of somatic works seem to really go back and remind people of that purpose of their higher self and their higher bodies. Channeling specifically, one of the services that you offer, how that deals with being of service to hold memory.
You really have to look at how channeling is achieved, and people come about it in different ways and have different understandings of what's happening. But within my own practice, in order to channel, I essentially drop out of my ego space into my heart and allow myself to just relax and open into my divine truth. And from that space, I can then connect with guides who show me, within the modalities that I'm doing, specifically how to help a person. But in relation to memory, this connection with the divine, I feel, is the ultimate remembering. To find that connection within myself means that I'm aligned with unconditional love, which is another word in my understanding for God, for divinity, for this expansive awareness of the infinite. And when you're in alignment with the infinite, you remember the essence of who you are. And so in your somatic body, in whatever you're doing, you suddenly have a chance to have that perspective and to change whatever's not in alignment with that feeling of unconditional love. Like, here's this beautiful expression of yourself. Now look at your life in this world and see that fear that you've been struggling with, or see that anger that's been holding you back from the perspective of higher self. And so remembering is simply, to me, shifting back into that higher self awareness, that connection with divinity.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I want to move next and really explore some of the events that you've hosted. Um, yeah, I know that one of them dealt with the Peruvian shamanism and the other dealt with Deeksha. Could you explain a little both, please?
Absolutely. So, my first event was Deeksha because, as I said, Deeksha is the foundation for all of my training. So, to return home to Deeksha was really enjoyable for me. We don't have that particular practice in the Prescott community, but as I said, it's all over the world. And the goal of Deeksha is to create that connection to universal consciousness that we just spoke of. So the practice is me physically putting my hands on someone's head, and scientifically it's been shown to bring the same benefits as meditation. So you'll see an increased sense of focus, more relaxation, the ability to stop and really be aware of what's going on around you. So within this blessing, the laying on of hands, we move into this mutual space of really being held in that infinite love. And what I like about it is that when I began it, I didn't have a foundation of meditation. And so it really helped me to establish everything in my life that gave me that self-love. And so I can work on children within that space and help them to establish those feelings of peace. I can work on someone who's completely, beginning on their path in exploration of energy work, and they don't have to have any comprehension of what I'm doing. The only thing they have to do is surrender and feel. And so they get a very direct experience of, what is this universal consciousness, and is it something that I want to connect to? And if so, it actually creates this repatterning in their brain with more and more exposure, just like meditation. Every time they go into it, it gets stronger. As far as shamanism, that's a little bit more complicated, but equally dear to my heart. So, in this particular form of shamanism, which comes from Peru, you have to, within your own life, within your own personal space, be completely in alignment with the virtues that overlay the 12 points on an Inca cross. If you want to look that up, you can. So I studied this in 2011, but it took me 8 years to get to the point where my life and my energetic space reflected that Inca cross so that I could work on others' people in it. So it literally does not work if you're not in complete integrity. And I love that. It's like, it feels like such a huge accomplishment to be able to step forward and, like, yes, I'm working in the Inca cross. And so what you do then is, when your energetic space is aligned, you go into that, again, remembering that connection, and you bring it into your heart. And like Deeksha does that repatterning of your brain, well, shamanism is a repatterning of your energetic system. So I've repatterned my energetic system within the altruistic virtues of, like, love, trust, awareness, connection. And I bring that through my heart, and then I can connect to someone else's energetic space. And I can help them to address their life in whatever way their intention decides, because it's a co-creative process. They might say, it's my intention to understand my purpose. It's my intention to bring awareness to this issue I'm having in my life. I'm really feeling a lot of fear and separation right now. How can I overcome that? And so then the guides I will channel, and they will maybe bring forth information, maybe ask me to change or heal part of the energetic body. Maybe it'll go into so another form of remembering, like a soul retrieval, is pretty common. And that's bringing forth an understanding from a different place into your current energetic body.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so beautiful, and I think that really hits the nail on the head on the purpose of this podcast, to explore healing modalities. And within that, I'm really looking for how shamans and how healers, how their roles are within community and within culture. So yeah, I just want to close this podcast. Thank you, of course, for being not only here and sharing your thoughts with us. I think that Deeksha is a really, as you mentioned before earlier, Deeksha really transcends culture. And I feel that, yeah, when you take on a client, it really helps really heal not only that person, but really heal the collective. And just to, yeah, when one person remembers, it allows for more people to be aware of this remembrance. And as we ascend with the earth into higher and higher frequencies, I think your work is so valuable in healing people within the Prescott community and also the earth, and helping remember. So yeah, just a big thank you, Jen, for your work and for your own growth, which allows us to really benefit from your services and of being of service to us. So thank you.
And thank you for this podcast. I mean, it's amazing to bring awareness to the community, because, there's only so much time you can devote to a certain understanding, but when you have the opportunity to explore other people's understanding, suddenly we're a little bit closer in the community and we're a little bit less apprehensive of each other. So you're doing amazing work in the creation of oneness as well.
Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners, for listening and tuning in. And we will see you next episode. Thank you.